So welcome to this segment as we revise Physics 5054, the 2021 GC Paper 2. If you're doing pure science, I'm sure you find it very interesting. So let's go into discussion. Question number 1 there. It says, Figure 1.1 shows a wire of density 2700 kg per cubic meter, diameter of 4.00 millimeters, and a mass of 0.17 kg. So this is the wire that they have given you. Then it says, name an instrument that can be used to measure the diameter of the wire to the given precision. So if you look at, the diameter, it is 4.00 millimeters. So remember, a micrometer screw gauge can measure length from 0 to 25 millimeters with accuracy. So the best instrument looking at the diameter was a micrometer, screw gauge. So a micrometer screw gauge, and you earn your 1 mark. Then it says, explain what is meant by the statement accuracy of a measuring instrument. In other words, when we talk about accuracy, it is simply the closeness of a measured value to the true value or the accepted value. So we can simply say the closeness of the measured value to the true value, or we can simply say acceptable value or measurement. There's no problem with that. So how close the measured value is to the true value, that's what we simply call as being accuracy. Please don't confuse accuracy with precision. Precision talks about the consistency of the measured value to each other. That's what it means, or the closeness of the measured value to each other. That's what precision talked about. But with accuracy, it talks about the closeness of what you have measured to the actual value or the accepted value in this case. B says determine the volume of the wire. So how can we determine the volume? Remember, that is the wire is in form of a cylinder. So therefore, volume will be pi r squared. Height in this case will be represented by the length L. So since we want to find the volume, so volume will be equal to, in this case, okay. So there's some information that they have actually given us instead. We'll come and apply that later on. But if you look at some of the data that they have given us there, they have actually told us the density rho P 2700 kg per cubic meters. They have also given us the mass, which is equal to 0.176 kg. So this can help us to find the volume, because we know that density is equal to mass divided by volume. So therefore, volume will be equal to the mass divided by the density. So the mass is 0.176 kg. We divide by the density 2700 kg per cubic meters. So remember, this and that will cancel. So when we work this one out, what would that give us? So 0.176 divided by 2700. So you can see what it is giving you. We can change it into exponential form. That would be 6.5 to 2 decimal places, 6.52 times 10 raised to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 raised to the power negative 5. And remember, this is going to be in cubic meters. So units are very important, and that's what you needed to do there. So you just needed to use the data there and replace it there to find the volume. Then the length of the wire. So now the length of the wire, we are going to apply the formula. Volume can also be given by pi r squared L. So the length, if we make the length by dividing, in this case by r squared, we also do it also the other side. It simply means that the length will be equal to the volume divided by pi r squared. So we know the volume, we want to know the radius pi. You can use what is on your calculator. So remember, the radius, since they gave you the diameter of the wire, the radius will be the diameter divided by 2, which will be 4.00 millimeters divided by 2, which will give us 2.00 millimeters. But remember, you need to convert the millimeters to cubic meters. You need to convert it to meters, sorry. So what we know about the conversion there, we know that 1 meter is equal to 1000 millimeters. So you can say, what about 2.00 millimeters? Then what will that give me? You cross multiply. You notice that you just divide 2 divided by 1000. And when we divide 2 divided by 1000 there, it is simply going to give us 0.002 meters. So now once you get that, you can now substitute it in there. So the volume, which we know is 6.52 times 10 raised to the power -5 cubic centimeters over pi. We'll just use what is on the calculator, multiply by the radius, which is 0.002, but this raised to the power 2. Well, when you work out, that would be 6.52 exponent -5. Whatever you get, you divide by your pi. Okay, again you divide by, in this case, 0.002, but this raised to the power 2. So it is actually giving us 5.2. If you want, we can leave it to 2 decimal places, so 5.19 and 5.19 here. This is the length, so therefore it will be in meters. So please work out your calculations properly from there so that you don't get it wrong. But this is the way you were going to do it. So watch out for the next question as we try to discuss this one in my next video.